Hey, I'm here today to do another video from my request list. It's how the Life Path 9 is supported by the expression number 7. Now, as you know, that life path is the most important number in your chart. It is king of your kingdom, and your expression number 7 exists solely to support the achievement of that life path 9. So these are two very spiritual numbers. So the expression 7 is another fairly useful number to support your life path 9. The snags I can see is where the 9 needs to be more charismatic and social. The 7 won't necessarily be useful in helping you in that. But when it comes to spirituality and developing your intuition, the 7 is going to be a very, very useful ally in helping you develop that all-important life path 9. Now, your areas of development in the life path 9, you need to work on issues of integrity to ensure that your intentions are always good and for the well-being of humanity and not just for you. The lowest level 9s can be confidence tricksters who, they have the ability and the charisma and the social talent to make people think that they're there for their benefit. But a 9 with no integrity at its lowest can actually be quite a con artist and make people think they're doing things for them and actually they're doing it for their benefit, and they run away with all their savings or do something equally horrific to them. But that is a very low level 9. If you're a life path 9, don't panic. I'm not accusing you to be a criminal and a con man or a con person, staying gender neutral here. Not wanting you to think that you're a bad person. You're not. You're just working with issues with integrity to always make sure that everything you do is for good reason, for good intention, and with integrity, not just for the well-being of yourself, but for the well-being of those around you as well. You're here to teach and be an example to others. You're here to be intuitive and take that intuitive wisdom from source energy and use that wisdom that you channel from source energy and the laws that you learn about and channel from source energy to teach others, not only with your words, but also by example, by the acts, by your actions, by how you live your life. So you're here to be a spiritual teacher, not only with your words, but also by your actions and your way of life. You're here to develop towards people hanging on your every word and following what you do and using it as a basis for their life, but in a balanced way. That's what you're here to develop towards when you're a life path 9. When you have an expression 7, you're very spiritual. You give the life path 9 all the ability it needs to channel intuition. The expression number 7 trusts the soul within them. They know they're an immortal being and they trust their intuition implicitly and use that intuition to direct their life and everything they learn. They know they have an immortal soul that has lived before, and they know that the soul within them and the intuition that helps them listen to it is full of knowledge that they need to use to help them to get forward in life. And this intuition and trust in the soul within them and the 7 trust in the way that their life is going is going to help the 9 help you in your life path 9 to channel that intuition that you need to act with integrity, to help others with well-being, and just about everything really. The only thing where the 7 may struggle with is the communication and the communicating with others and socializing and being charismatic, because the 7 really is talented at analysis and spiritual channeling, but is not one for speaking to people or making themselves the center of attention. So let's look at the detail here, so I won't keep going on and on. I'm breaking the life path 9 into 10 sections, okay? And that each of those sections is an element of the life path 9 that you need to develop. And on the right hand side, I've put how the expression number will help or sometimes not help so much, or sometimes even hinder the life path. And all that means is that as a life path 9 expression 7, there are certain elements of your path that you may need to work harder at because you have the potential. Just because you haven't got the talent in the 7, you have the potential in the 9 life path, or you wouldn't have that life path. So it just might be that little bit more difficult for you to take that element of your life path. But that doesn't mean that you cannot take that element of your life path. It just makes it a little bit more difficult, So, you're here to follow your intuitive wisdom. Live to spiritual laws rather than worldly laws. And I'm not asking you to break the law and get yourself in trouble. I'm saying focusing less on worldly law and ideals and conventions. And this is what the social system says you should do. And look more through your intuitive wisdom that the 7 can give you, and through spiritual law to help you look a little bit beyond the laws of humanity, because the 9 can tend to follow worldly laws and act on these worldly laws and prejudice and sometimes even bigotry. That's a very low level 9. I'm not calling you a bigot. I'm just saying low level 9s can be a bit bigoted. I'm not saying you are as a 9. You could be further along that road. But if you'd followed, what the 9 tends to do is to follow worldly laws, ideals. This is the law, this is the ideal, you did this, so this is what's going to happen. But if you'd followed your intuitive spiritual wisdom, would you have acted in a different way? That's what the Life Path 9 always needs to ask themselves. Did I act through ideals, convention, through something because I hated them for some reason, and they challenged my ideals, or they broke the law, so that's what's going to happen? If you'd really looked into your heart and intuition, would you have really acted that way? You're looking to be more spiritual. Focus more on faith and spirituality, and a little bit less on the logic and the ideals and the rationality of man, because we're just not always right. But source energy is. Okay, we wouldn't be here if we were always right. We'd be up in source energy now, having a great time. So your 7 talent energy makes you a talented mix of the intuitive, the spiritual intuitive, and you're also talented at being logical and researching other people's theories. The 7 has got a very incisive, smart brain that is able to look at information, look at the detail of that information and really analyze it, research it, pull out the detail and create something that resonates with their own intuition. You're able to analyze worldly wisdom by filtering it through your spiritual intuition, which is vital for your Life Path 9. You analyze, and if it feels right in that gut of yours, you'll believe it and you will act on it. That's the talent that you have in the expression 7. So support that Life Path 9 by prioritizing your inner intuitive wisdom as the final decision maker on your beliefs, motivator, and most definitely your actions. Very, very important for the Life Path 9 to do that. Intuition, intuition, intuition. You're also here to act with integrity, and intuition will help you act with integrity, You need to act with integrity for the benefit of other people at the end of the day. You're a powerful number that you're developing towards in the Life Path 9, and you must use that power for the benefit of others. With great power brings great responsibility. And the 9 can sometimes, as I said earlier, can act for selfish, nefarious reasons. They can make you think that they're doing everything for you because they're so talented at communication. But sometimes the 9 can be quietly and hidden, selfish, and maybe put up a front of helping others, but not necessarily always helping others. Okay, and I'm not saying all Life Path 9s do that. Most Life Path 9s have walked down that path that little bit further already. So your 7 talent energy means that you're thoughtful and intuitive. You're a natural spiritual teacher in the 7 energy, able to help others find that spiritual purpose. So you can support that Life Path 9 by using your intuitive wisdom to help and guide yourself and others for their benefit. Because you're using your intuition in the expression 7, you will always have the benefit of everyone in mind, because source energy is everything and everyone. Source energy does not pick one person out for special treatment. It's for everyone. And source energy will always look to everyone. They love and support. Source energy is everyone and everything. Not any one person should be benefiting over others, especially for nefarious reasons. So use that intuition to support that 9 by making sure that you use the wisdom from your intuition to guide you in your actions for the benefit of other people, not just for you. Okay, really important. You're here to lead by example. You're here to teach others, to practice what you preach, to be an example by the way you behave. That means whatever spiritual laws or spiritual wisdom that you tell to others, that you express to others with your excellent communication skills that you're developing towards, you need to learn by example. So you might struggle with that. Sometimes you might lead people down difficult paths, take people down paths that are going to hurt them, or sometimes you can be quite domineering, an advisor with all the answers. But you've got to step back and let people make their own mistakes and make sure you're leading people to good things, not to bad things, because a life path 9 is looked to for guidance, and you're developing towards being that trustworthy guide, so that not only do you practice what you preach with your words, but you practice it in your life. So if you say compassion is the most important thing in the world, the people around you need to see you acting with the most compassion in the world, so that they learn how to live with compassion. That's what the 9 is here to do. Okay, but don't get too involved. You've got to let people make their own mistakes. Your 7 talent energy makes you logical and an intuitive advisor. You've got both sides of the coin there in the 7 energy. You're logical and intuitive, able to live by and act on your intuitive beliefs, what you feel deep down. So your inner focus helps you balance your tendency in the 9 to take over people's lives, because the 7 energy is about their own inner development. So when you're a talent in the 7 energy, you're more likely to step back and look after your own inner development. And that helps balance your tendency in the 9 to get too involved in other people's development and lives. The 7's going to balance you there. And then, you need to work out when to step in and help people and when to step back and go and look after yourself. You have that ability in the 7. You are about inner development rather than leadership. So leadership might not be something that you would want to do. It might not be being an example to others, or leading others, or getting people to follow you is not a natural thing for you as an expression 7. So you might find it difficult when people look to you, and when people listen to you, and when people ask you questions or want you to teach them something. Because the 7, as much as they are a natural spiritual teacher, they can be a bit more about their own inner development rather than always helping other people. But used properly, that 7 energy can balance the energy of the 9 being too domineering and taking over people's lives. So balance that energy with your 7 if you're not already. So support your life path 9 by being a selfless manifestation of your intuitive beliefs for others to follow. Okay, it's not going to be easy having others follow you, but this is your path of development in the 9, to teach others and get them to follow you, but for good reason and for their well-being and development. Always keep that in mind as a 9. You need to make your life your teaching. Like I said, everything you do should be based on what you preach to others. If you preach compassion, you must behave within compassion. You must teach others how to bring that spiritual law or idea into the world in a practical way. And they should be able to learn that by watching you. But this is something you're developing towards. So you may have at times taught people the wrong thing, either deliberately or not deliberately. But you need to work towards being more wisdomful, and using all that cellular experience that you have in the 9 potential to help you help others. And your 7 talent energy is a talented spiritual teacher. I mean, you're more into your own internal development, and that's what you focus on in the 7, but you are a spiritual teacher. You can help others on a one-to-one basis. You prefer that anyway, to teach your wisdom for the benefit of others, to help them in their lives. So you can support your life path 9 by working with others, using your intuition to help them access their own inner wisdom. And this, by doing this, you're supporting your life path 9 because you're making what you learn in your intuition something that you teach to others. But you have to make sure that you're always living by that to support your life path 7. You're here to learn to be that all-loving humanitarian. You want to help everyone, help the vulnerable all over the world. Here to make the world a better place. You're here to develop a global consciousness, not just for the people around you, but for the people far away as well. Remember, you're here to look after the well-being of others, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the well-being of just the people that sit right in front of you. It can be the well-being of the people all over the world. So, but your 7 talent energy is about your own soul development, really. I mean, you're a spiritual teacher too, but your main focus is your own spiritual development. And you use your spiritual teaching to develop your own self. You know, it's the basis of who you are. So it's about developing yourself, really, so that you can share your wisdom to help others. So you can be a bit self-involved and self-focused rather than humanitarian at times. You have that tendency in the 7. So support your life path 9 by focusing more, by focusing your wisdom outwards instead of just keeping it inwards to develop yourself. Work on focusing your wisdom outwards so that you're helping other people make the world a better place. Spiritual wisdom is useless when it's not passed on. That's something that the 7 really, really needs to learn. But for your life path 9, it's not that the 7 needs to learn it. It's the life path 9 needs you to do it. So focus on that wisdom and put it outwards. Don't just keep it in here. You're here to be a spiritual teacher, to develop others and help their well-being. Be a humanitarian, both practically and emotionally. You're here to learn to take responsibility. You're a very, very powerful number. With great power brings great responsibility. You sometimes run away from the consequences of your powerful choices, which is a tendency in the 9. But your 7 talent energy is really uninterested, really, in anyone else's, oftentimes uninterested in anyone else's idea of what they think is responsible. You know, the 7 knows what they think is responsible. You live by your own mind. Your own intuitive wisdom. Responsibility to others is not necessarily the focus of the 7 energy. As I said, the 7 energy is really about using their own internal focus first of all, and then they will use what they learn internally to help people as a spiritual teacher. But it's about that internal self-development when you're an expression number 7 more than anything else. So the 7 might push responsibility away quite a lot because it's about learning myself. I don't really care what other people want me to do in the world. That is quite a 7 thing. So to support your life path 9, ensure that your actions are not detrimental to the well-being of others by always ensuring that even though you're here to develop yourself, use that intuition and ensure that you're always using heightened spiritual, that you're always being inspired by your spirituality so that you always look after the well-being of others. I mean, you're not really natural for being responsible, but you could still use your intuition in the 7 to make sure that you always act in a responsible manner. Okay, you're a very powerful number. You need to face up to what you do. Ensure that your actions are not detrimental to the well-being of others, but when you do, you need to own up, take responsibility and fix it. You know, but the 7 might run away from that at times because, you know, it can be all about them. So yeah, you might need to work on that one to support your life path 9. So you need to develop towards that entrepreneurship as well. That 9 needs to be a passionate business person, but not just a business, not just focusing on the money. The 9 life path is about you having an entrepreneurial business, but dealing in something that you are passionate about, something that really gets you here. Whatever you sell or whatever service you offer in the 9, when you're developing towards being that entrepreneur, you must ensure that it is something that you feel passionate about and is not just focused on money and practicality. You must choose work that has meaning for you, but that's something that you're working towards. So that might be something that you struggle with, especially at first, or you could struggle with it right through your life. It's your life path at the end of the day. You're meant to struggle a bit. And you're a powerful force for change. So it's important that the work you do is something that you feel passionate about, and then you will be a really powerful force for change. So, but your 7 talent energy doesn't predispose you to business. As this is out of development, it's about making money, and the 7's not really down with making money, or they know they need money to live, don't get me wrong, but they're not really interested in money or material gain above and beyond what they need to be comfortable, really. So to support your life path 9, you need to develop business skills, okay? Something that your talent may not bring you, but it's not impossible for you to do. You've got the potential in the 9 to be an entrepreneur. So develop your business skills, however you want to do it. Work with a business person, have a business mentor, do a course, however you feel more comfortable to develop your business skills if you haven't already, and also use your spiritual ability and intuition as the basis of your business decisions. Okay, you can do practical things, but if you use your spiritual intuition as the basis of those decisions, you'll always make sound business decisions, and you'll always be following your intuition, which will never take you wrong. You could even mulch up the 2 and have a spiritual business. Use your passions in the 7 for the spiritual and the metaphysical, and develop that towards something. Develop that into, it might already be a passion that you can develop as an entrepreneur to support your life path 9. But it's up to you how you do the specifics of all these big picture actions that I'm giving you. You're here to develop excellent social skills and charisma. Now, I said at the beginning, the 7 may not be too helpful here. You need to develop the skills of a powerful speaker, influencer of others, so that people hang on your every word. This is something that the 9 will struggle with because it's part of their life path, and the expression 7's not necessarily going to be helpful here. This is going to be something that's going to be harder for you to achieve. So your 7 talent energy will struggle to help you with this. As you're better alone or one-to-one, speaking to large groups is not going to be something that comes natural to an expression number 7. So you need to support your life path 9 by challenging yourself in the realm of public speaking. Again, speak to a mentor, somebody else that's good at it. Take a course, practice on people you know and trust. Study the skills needed to captivate and influence an audience. And that will be amazing to help support your life path 9, because it will mean your spiritual knowledge and intuition can be passed on to others just that much easier. But again, this is going to be a difficult element of your life path. No one's saying that this is going to be easy, but it's something to work towards for your life purpose, really. It's very, very important. You're here to look after the well-being of others in that 9 energy. You might find that difficult because it's your life path. Because when you're in trouble, you tend to be a bit of a fixer. You like to look after everyone else's needs, sometimes quite arrogantly. I'm the fixer. I'm the one with the answers. Arrogant. And sometimes you can overstep the mark and disrespect other people's paths by not allowing them to learn from their own mistakes. We've all got life paths and we all need to learn by our own mistakes, but the 9 tends to overstep a bit and, I'll fix it for you, follow me, do what I say, but the person might need to work through this for their own life path. And sometimes the 9 needs to know when to step back and stop being the fixer. I mean, you look after the well-being of others, but sometimes you can do it too much, and then when you're in trouble and need support, you tend not to ask because you keep thinking, I'm the arrogant, you can be a bit arrogant, I'm the fixer, I'm the one with the answers. How can I show anyone else that I'm weak by asking for help? The strongest people in the world are the ones that ask for help. Okay, the 9 needs to develop towards more interdependence, more, not only helping others, but also being helped by others. Okay, it's very, very important. So you're able to help others with your intuitive wisdom in the 7. But to support your life path 9, you need to seek others' support as well. It's got to be interdependent. Seek out others' support when you need it. You can't do everything alone. It would help, you connect with other people, to make yourself that little bit more emotionally vulnerable by asking other people for help. It can do nothing but help connect you more to other people and help you to feel more supported, rather than it just being you that is the supporter. Remember, we're all interconnected, okay, and we all look after each other. You can't do everything alone. You're here to wrap things up. The 9 is struggles to let things go, okay? So you have perceived injustices from your past that can give you a bit of a victim mentality. It's the 9. They struggle to let go of things and move on. So sometimes that victim mentality can make the 9 hold on to feelings that no longer serve you. Making you unable to move on from this perceived injustice. And it's often rooted in family issues, and it's used by the 9 as a reason why they can't succeed in life, or blaming everyone else for everything they do wrong in life instead of taking responsibility themselves. But it's not about blaming other people, 9. We all have things to deal with, and you need to let go and surrender from these things you're holding on to and move on. You know, your 7 talent energy is prone to mistrust as it is. So this is possibly going to be an issue for you, because your 7 talent energy, as much as they trust their intuition and they trust the process of their life because of their intuition, they can be sometimes mistrusting of the world and everyone else within it, especially when the 7 is low. You worry about being hurt or ridiculed by others when you're low in the 7. But to support your life path 9, by having faith that the process of your life has gone just as it should in that 7 talent energy. You've got the ability there. The expression 7 talent is so intuitive that most of the time they know that their life is going how it should, that even the difficulties and the upsets that they've gone through in life is something that they needed to go through for their development. The 7 has the ability to help a 9 to trust the world more. The 7 can also help the 9 be less trusting when it's low, but when the 7 is strong, the support for the life path 9 will come from faith. You know, that the process of your life is going just as it should. Even if you've had issues happen to you in your past, it was necessary for your evolution. All experience, negative, positive, they're all necessary learning experiences. Injustice is a lesson at the end of the day. What counts is how you deal with what happens, what you learn from it, and how you adapt from it, let go and move on. So if you're holding on to things, which you're likely to be as a life path 9, it's time to reconcile them, realize that these things happen for a reason, let them go and move on. How does it work with all the little numbers? Now, I'm only going to talk about the expression number 7 as a whole, but there are like 8, 9 or 10 ways to be an expression 7. So you'd need a more focused video for me to be totally deep in how your expression number will support your life path. But I can give you a general overview of the 7 energy and how that supports the types of life path. Okay, so we've already discussed the 9, so I'm going to focus on the sub lessons here, say the 1, 8, 9. So the most important of the sub lessons here is the 8. Now the 7 energy is very much about spirituality, intuition, not much about achieving financial abundance. So learning the secrets of financial abundance and then using that abundance as a tool to help others, and channeling to express unique ideas. The 7 isn't one, first of all, for building abundance in the world, and the 7 isn't one really for channeling new ideas. The 7's more likely to look at loads of different ideas and use elements from all these ideas that they've already looked at and create something that works for them. So they're very creative, the 7, but not necessarily channeled directly from source energy as an innovative idea. So the 9 will be supported by the 7, but you may need to work a little harder on that 8 and 1 sub lesson, because the expression 7 is not going to be so helpful when it comes to the 8 and 1 energy. So that's going to be a little bit harder for you to cope with. The 2, 7, 9 is going to have a bit of an easier time because of that 7 energy. They're talented in the 7. So they've got that 7 there as the most important sub lesson. So the 7's going to help you trust the soul within you. don't know what happened there. It's going to help you trust the soul within you and the process of your life to feel safe enough to share your wisdom. And that's the talent you have in the 7. The only snag I can see here is the working alongside others, but it depends on your type of expression number. You know, if you're a 257, your expression number, you're going to find it a little bit easier to work with the 279, but that 7 is going to be very useful for your expression number 7. The 369, you're very idealistic. Your life path is very, very, very idealistic. And you're about emotional expression in the 3 energy. So the 6 likes to nurture others using their ideals, and the 3 energy likes to emotionally express to others to inspire them. However, the 7 is really much about their own inner development. The 7 is more intuitive than idealistic, and their beliefs are mostly taken from their intuition, but they could have ideals that they work from. But thinking about how the 7 could help the 6 there, because the 7's more, I would say, realistic than the 6. So the 7 could help the 6 a little bit there, but not so much the 3, because the 3 is about emotional expression, and the 7 really is not down with that. But it depends on what type of expression 7 you are. So apart from helping the 9 energy, the 3 and the 6 might not be helped so much by that expression energy. 4-5 needs to be extremely focused and disciplined, the 4-5-9. Setting goals and dealing with them goals and being disciplined and focused and making sure they get the job done. Now, the expression number can help you when it comes to focus and discipline and looking at the detail and thinking, right, working hard to get things done and being disciplined. But you might not want to set external goals. You know, the 7 talent isn't really about setting goals for the external. They're going to want to set more goals that are internal. And the 4-5-9 is going to be about using that ability more on an external basis. So you have the ability in the expression 7 to analyze and focus and be disciplined. The only snag I can see here is that your goals might